Now is the time. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here today. We will now begin the Okayama ESD Forum 2021. I am Masami Kato, and I will be your facilitator today. Thank you very much for your joining. We'll be taking photos and videos today for our records. Also, the first part of today's forum will be uploaded to YouTube at a later date. If you are uncomfortable with being photographed or filmed, please let the staff know. We will do our best to accommodate you. Now, let us begin the first part of the Okayama ESD Forum 2021 and the presentation of the ESD Okayama Award winning initiatives. I would like to introduce the participants of the first part. On behalf of the organizer, present with us are Mr. Masao Omori, Mayor of Okayama. And Dr. Hirofumi Abe, Chair of the ESD Okayama Steering Committee, President of Okayama ESD Promotion Council. In addition to those of you at the venue, many people from around the world are participating online today. Thank you very much. The ESD Okayama Award, organized by Okayama City and ESD Okayama Award Steering Committee, selects and commends excellent ESD practices that are expected to become role models for the world and contribute to the spread of ESD. It began in 2015, and this marks the 7th year. This year, when the ESD Okayama Award solicited the world for application, we received a record number of 118 applications from 48 countries and regions around the world. After a rigorous screening process, 2 organizations were selected to receive the ESD Okayama Award in fiscal year 2021. The winning organization have already been announced. Triple P, Partners for People and the Planet from the Republic of South Africa, and from the Republic of the Philippines, Streets to Schools. First, let me briefly introduce the initiatives of the winning organizations. Now let me introduce them. The winning initiative of Triple P from the Republic of the South of Africa is Wise Ways Water Care. This is a river environment improvement project by a South African nonprofit organization to comprehensively solve social, economic, and environmental challenges in the area surrounding the river that flows into the city of Durban. The project aims to improve the health of people living in the river catchment, encourage them to take initiative in managing the river, and support them to achieve sustainable economic development. The project is multidimensional, including waste management, removal of alien plants of the river basin, and river water quality management, water pipe management, and agricultural skill development and business development. The Streets to Schools from the Philippine Republic of the Philippines. Their title is Ladders to a Literacy. This is a project on literacy education conducted by a non-profit organization led by youths and children of the Philippines. The project focuses on providing quality education to children from all backgrounds, including poverty, and encourage them to take action toward the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Young people and the children themselves are creating picture books about the SDGs with the help of various people in the community. In addition, they address a variety of topics according to the challenges faced by each community, such as women's empowerment, public health, community safety and security, children's rights, leadership development, and poverty alleviation. Now, at this time, I would like to call upon the Mayor's Omori to congratulate the two award-winning organizations on behalf of the organizer. Mayor Omori, please. Hello, everyone. I am Mayor of Okayama, Masao Omori. On behalf of the organization, I'd like to say a few words. This award was established in 2015 to recognize the best practices of ESD around the world in the hope that it will lead to a further expansion and dissemination of ESD and help to enhance ESD activities. This year marks the 7th year of the awards. The winners of the ESD Okayama Award 2021 are Triple P from the Republic of South Africa and from the Republic of the Philippines, Streets to Schools. I would like to congratulate you both. I also would like to express my deepest respect for the dedicated activities to those who were unfortunately not selected for the award. The Triple P in the Republic of South Africa conducts projects to improve the river environment through community-based river management, health improvement, economic development. Streets to Schools in the Republic of the Philippines carries out projects to provide high-quality education to children with difficulties through literacy education by producing picture books about SDGs. These are all excellent ESD activities catering for the characteristics of the local communities, and I heard that they can serve as role models for sustainable society building activities around the world. This year, despite the COVID-19, we received a record number of 118 applications from 48 countries and regions. I feel it is precisely at this time, when the COVID-19 is slowing everything down in the world, that we need to take action toward a sustainable society. Okayama City hosted the UNESCO World Conference on ESD in 2014 and received the UNESCO Japan ESD Award, thus playing a leading role in ESD in Japan and abroad. The city is committed to continue to work with the Okayama ESD Promotion Council to promote ESD and create a sustainable region. I would like to encourage this year's prize winners to upgrade your good work to realize a better society that we can leave to our future generations. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all of you for your continued support for the promotion of ESD. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Omori. So this was his congratulatory remarks to the two groups of awards. Next, we would like to have a commentary of the two groups for their initiatives from the chairman, Hirofumi Abe, who is the ESD Okayama the Award Management Committee, as well as the chair of the Screening Committee. Chairman Abe, please give us your commentary. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. I am the chair of the Screening Committee. ESD Okayama Award Management Committee Chairman. My name is Hirofumi Abe. As it's been introduced, we have two groups of the initiatives. It became the ESD Okayama Award 2021 prize-winning initiatives. And the screening have been done with the 6 specialists. And in the screening committee especially, it was highly evaluated, which the commentaries that I'd like to introduce from the two groups. First of all, the first is the Republic of South America project. For this project, from the regional development to the development of human resources, agriculture, and river management, all of the activities were very diverse. And this cooperate with the local governments, universities, and companies to solve local problems, and is implemented on community-centered basis with the participation of the diverse stakeholders. And there are mutual learning through the voluntary activities of the local residents, and people were being empowered. So they really worked on to develop people's potentials. And a third point to note is, so in one river basin city, the local natural environments conservation improvement was led by this project, and it is expected to have a ripple effect to other areas. So it's been 5 years since the start of this project, but this is economical sustainable and has potential for development. And the fourth point to note is the annual budget is large. However, the activities are commensurate with it, and they are producing results. And it is greatly appreciated that they have created products using waste materials, and that they have conducted projects to agriculture alone, ultimately creating 46 jobs, which was highly evaluated. So this was for the project to the South Africa. And the second is about the Philippines ESD business, which I like to make the commentary for its evaluation. And the first point is a major issue in the Philippines, which is the literacy education. Their initiative to that, as well as the focusing of the youth, was very good in terms of concept. And the initiative is linked to solving local issues close to their own. And the second point to note is from the young age of 13 to 19 years old, children and young people were the center of this project. And they used the storytelling method and delivered that from the point of view of the children. They provided that to children, and the return revenue was shared to the children, thereby contributing to improve their sense of self-affirmation. And in addition, the parents participated in the project, and the local community was also involved. And the project is highly evaluated for its inclusive nature, including the delivery of books translated into Braille for children who are blind, which was highly evaluated. And the fourth point was that even in a COVID-19 situation, they use social media such as Facebook to disseminate information, which is very innovative. And in the future, we truly hope that those who learn from this project will accumulate the practical ability to solve local issues, which we expect from the screening committee. So these are the commentaries to the two initiatives and the projects. And this is the ESD 2021 Okayama Awards. Was first of all, they were candidates, but however, with this screening committee, through these rewards, we would like to have the world to be disseminated with this ESD activities. Thank you very much.
Chair Abe, thank you very much for your comments. Now, we'd like to hear from two organizations about their joy. First, from South Africa, Triple P, Ms. Nitsuaki Ditali. Ms. Ditali, hello. Congratulations.
Hello. Thank you very much.
Ms. Ditali, can you hear us? How happy you are after hearing the congratulatory speech by Mayor Modi and comments by Chair Abe?
We are very excited to receive this award from the city of Okayama. And on behalf of Triple P, our board of directors, and the beneficiaries of the Wise Ways Water Care, we would like to thank the city of Okayama for honoring and acknowledging the work that we've been doing for the past 5 years in achieving sustainable development at local level and supporting our government in achieving the sustainable development goals. So from the bottom of our hearts, we're very grateful for this achievement and this award. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We were very happy to hear that you were very happy.
So, Mayor Modi, you heard how happy Ms. Ditali expressed, and what do you think? I think it's a wonderful initiative. I think it's a wonderful initiative, and it's been a 5-year initiative, and the last 2 years was affected by COVID-19, I assume. And so COVID-19 had a lot of infection in South Africa. And how did you overcome that infection? And so can you share us the status surrounding the COVID-19?
So this was an opportunity for us to really service the communities where this project has been implemented. And the beneficiaries of the project, they use the skills that they gained throughout the years to help the community with providing water for hygiene. So they built taps where communities can wash their hands during the pandemic to promote hygiene and reduce the spread of the disease. We also supplied the communities with food and vegetables. We also assisted them in showing them how to grow their own vegetables. So this was really important during the pandemic because food security became a serious issue and a problem in South Africa, with many people losing their jobs due to the hard lockdowns. So the project came to the urgency and responded to the urgency of the communities, and we were able to assist the communities.
Thank you very much. So under the COVID-19, you were very positive and very energetic. Ms. Ditali, thank you very much. That's from the Triple P from South Africa. So we're going to ask her to share with us your initiatives later. Thank you.
Next, we'll have from the Republic of Philippines Street School, Mr. Kiel Giuliano Mikel Mariano-san. We'd like to connect with you. Mariano-san, hello and congratulations.
Okay, so mabuhay. That's hello in Filipino. And thank you so much for granting us the ESD Okayama Awards for this year. So we've always believed in UNESCO's ideals that we should be together for science, together for cultures, but most importantly, together for education. And a lot of young people my age are just looking for that opportunity to make a difference in the community. Think of it as like playing Pokemon during our childhood. We're just getting the experience points just to make a difference in our planet. And most of the time, we're scared to make a difference. And now we're so happy that we're able to become examples for young people all over the world to make a difference. We believe change takes a lot of time, and that is what we're young for. So that we have the time in the world to make all of the necessary changes so that we become excellent professionals in the future. We dedicate this award to the children, most especially, because they were our inspirations in making this project possible. These were the children who published their own storybooks and brought it all over the world. And with your help, with the help of Japan, we could experience that all these children will get the opportunity to showcase their talents all over the world. And like what I said earlier on, together for education, and that includes children, youth, young people, adults, parents, older generations, everyone. Because if you really want to achieve the sustainable development goals, everyone must remember their common responsibility, and that is to leave no one behind. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mariano-san. Well, I'd like to ask the Mayor Omori again. They are working on a very positive and aggressively on their very positive project. What do you think? Well, I think this was a great initiative, and for us, maybe we are not fully know the background of Philippines for us, but we are very close in terms of distance. But if you could let us know that system, I think we can learn a lot from your country. And from Japan, 7 to 8 years, we have a compulsory education for 6 years and 3 years. That's the kind of compulsive education we have in Japan. But how about the system in Philippines, the compulsory education? I'd like to ask you that one point. And secondly, about the literacy education that you are providing to them. If you could let us know the literacy level or ratio in Philippines, if you could let us know, it would be helpful.
All right, sure, no worries. So on compulsory education, so we do know that indicator 4.7 of the Sustainable Development Goal number 4 is to advance education for sustainable development. A lot of children and youth nowadays in our country would just contribute to school just to graduate or just to complete their academic requirements and not necessarily to help people. But SDG 4 allows us to create opportunities for these people to actually educate, but also for sustainability. So that while they're in school, they can also get the opportunity to help in taking care of the environment, becoming stewards, becoming human rights defenders, which is a very problematic experience here in the country because of the drug war. But other indicators of compulsory education here is that still a lot of people are not able to graduate high school or elementary. And from our experience, it could be as simple as bullying. Like the bullying from their peers, they choose not to go to school anymore because they are ashamed of going back. But of course, we cannot take a blind eye on the other issues like poverty and having no homes, having no meals, because these are all important other aspects of the sustainable development goals to be able to achieve inclusive education for all. And on that question on literacy, actually in 2019, when we joined the PISA assessment, the Philippines ranked 79th out of 79 countries that participated in this literacy assessment tool. We only scored 340 from the actual 487 standard all over the world. So this means that there is a big problem in literacy here in the country. And during this COVID-19 pandemic, where literacy is actually a matter of survival, because imagine handing a child a brochure or any information about COVID-19, but he can't read or write, can't understand what is being written. And this is what we really wanted to address so that children can learn how to survive during this pandemic, especially with the children we've met who have no access to homes, who have no social distancing, who have no face masks or gloves. Literacy is what's keeping them alive. And I hope that we could continue to address the gaps in literacy because this will amount to a lifetime of equality and social justice.
Thank you very much. Thank you for very energetic comments. And so change is a challenge, and to share that with all age groups is a key, and we received that your message. Well, we will have Mariano-san to have his presentation later on his initiatives. Thank you very much. With that, we have some preparation to do. To go to the next presentation part, we'll have a 5 minutes break, and we'll come back at 1:30 p.m. Japan time. So Mayor Omori will be leaving here because of his official duties. Thank you very much, Mayor Omori. And we'll be having the two-group presentation later on. Thank you very much, Chairman Abe. So we are going to have 5 minutes break here. Thank you.
Yes, will you please start your presentation?
Thank you. My name is Ntwaki Diklali, and thank you for everybody that has joined us today. I'm going to be sharing the journey of the Wise Ways Water Care project. So just a little bit about Triple P. Triple P stands for Partners for People and Planet, and Triple P is about forming partnerships with communities, with the government and private entities to address social, economic, and environmental issues together. We recognize the value of people's knowledge and capabilities as assets in achieving sustainable development. We also promote bottom-up leadership where we empower communities to take the lead in addressing the issues at local level. As an organization, we have supported over 3,000 beneficiaries in 3 provinces in South Africa. We've also removed over 10,000 bags of trash from waste disposed in the environment. We've also helped communities to set up 7 enterprises to support their livelihoods, but at the same time to improve their natural environment. Due to lack of skills and training in most of the communities that we work with, we have developed 14 career pathways to help communities in gaining knowledge and skills that they require to change their lives. We also support schools with environmental activities and food security activities, and we currently work with 11 schools. Wise Ways Water Care project is one of our key projects that we're implementing, and its objective is to support and empower communities of ezimbabwe and Folweni to build social, economic, and ecological resilience in the Mbogodweni catchment. The project was established in 2016, and we adopted a holistic approach in addressing the socio-economic and environmental challenges with the community. The project supports peri-urban communities who are vulnerable to climate change, and we've supported over 130 beneficiaries. We also established relationships with local government, with businesses and academic institutions, because this is an issue that requires all key stakeholders to come together and work together in addressing this social or societal issues. So just to give you a geographical perspective of where the project is based, we are in the KwaZulu-Natal province, which is on the eastern coastal part of South Africa. And we're in the Durban city area. And this green part here, that's where the Mbogodweni catchment is. This is the whole catchment. And we're focusing on the bottom part of the catchment because this is where the catchment is mostly impacted. And this is due to high density of communities living there, overpopulation. People are flocking to the city looking for opportunities. And these big circles, this is the areas, this is Folweni area, and this is Ezimbogotweni area. These are the two key areas where we're working. And there's also industrial activities on this part of the catchment that is also contributing to the poor condition of the catchment. As a global south city, Durban city is vulnerable to the effects of climate change. We've been experiencing storm surges in a few years, and it has resulted in people losing their homes, and even worse, people losing their livelihoods and their lives due to extreme weather conditions. The environmental challenges are making this situation even worse. So we're dealing with solid waste pollution that's blocking all the waterways. So during the flooding, the drainage systems are not able to drain the water, and water flow is limited, and causing communities living close to these systems to experience flooding. We also have issues with alien vegetation that's reducing the biodiversity of the catchment, and also choking the river system, so preventing water flows. Illegal sand mining is one of the big issues on the coastal line, causing massive bank erosion and banks to collapse, thereby reducing the quality of the water and the health of the river. Sewer contamination due to infrastructure failure is one of the biggest issues that we are dealing with. So these environmental issues are also exacerbated by the social economic issues that we experience in these areas. And these issues are not specific to Ezimbogotweni and Folweni. We see a lot of these issues in a lot of areas throughout South Africa. These two communities are amongst the most impoverished communities in eThekwini municipality. eThekwini is the municipality under the city of Durban. We see a record of 65% of unemployment rate in these two communities, and that leads to increased crime rate. It leads to high teenage pregnancy, alcohol and drug abuse. There's also poor service delivery in terms of waste collection in the community. So when the waste is not collected by municipality, the community ends up disposing it in the environment. There's lack of opportunities despite lack of job opportunities. There's also a lot of people have not completed their schooling. And also there's very, very poor skills in these communities, especially environmental skills to help address these issues. Children are also affected by waterborne diseases, and it's mostly affecting children because they end up playing in contaminated water. So to resolve these issues, we had to come up with strategic interventions or solutions that are going to address these issues systematically. And when we identified the solutions to these issues, we worked together with the community to be a participatory part in identifying the relevant and practical solutions in addressing these issues together. So we identified 5 main key solutions to address all the dimensions of sustainable development in the specific 2 areas. We also wanted the beneficiaries to be involved and hands-on on the ground implementing these interventions. So for us for communities to be able to do that, we had to provide them with the relevant training and skills. So we started a training and skills development program that focused on environmental training and skills, developing artisan plumbing that was specifically to address the water conservation issue. So the water conservation, it's mainly due to water loss through leaking taps, through burst pipes. And this has put a liability of 7 billion rands on of South African government on an annual basis due to loss of potable water. We also have agricultural training and skills. Teaching and communication skills, it's very important for beneficiaries to learn how to communicate with the communities when they do awareness and education about the project, about the importance of living in a healthy catchment. Enterprise development is a very important intervention that is promoting local economies, creating job opportunities for people in the community, but also addressing environmental issues, because all the enterprises that we set up are green enterprises that are addressing environmental issues as well. Supporting skills, so having technical skills, life and social skills, such as leadership skills. Health and safety is also very important, as the beneficiaries work in contaminated environment. So it's important that they keep themselves safe. We also have a number of adults in the project that did not finish their schooling. So we took them through their adult education training so that we can bring them to a level where they have literacy and numeracy skills to allow them to enter into other accredited trainings to further themselves. So the project has had a huge impact in the community and in some parts of the Durban city. So we wanted to understand from the community's perspective, what was the benefit they've seen through the project. So one of the questions that was asked was, what have you gained as a result of the Wise Ways Water Care project? And a lot of the responses were many people understood the importance of conserving water. They also learned how to grow their own vegetables, and they've also gained knowledge in adopting best practices in managing their waste and recycling their waste to generate income. And a lot of them also said that they have noticed that the living environment is more clean and habitable. So these are the 5 enterprises that we've set up. The enterprises are owned and they are managed by the communities themselves. So with the skills that they've acquired, they're now competent to run their own businesses that are creating jobs and supporting their livelihoods. The businesses are also addressing environmental issues, and at the same time, they're also addressing food security issues. We've created, since 2018, we've created 46 job opportunities, and mostly these jobs benefited women and youth. And it's really important that youth are benefiting from these jobs, because the youth unemployment rate is very high at the moment. We've also developed 11 career pathways, and one of the important ones is biodiversity protection, which 81 beneficiaries or community members has followed that career path. So they've learned quite a lot of trainings and acquired quite a lot of skills in waste management, in alien invasive plants, in monitoring river systems. So this is really exciting for us, because these are the skills that did not exist before in the communities. So now the community has these important skills to improve the condition of the catchment. I would like to share the story of Tolakane Mselogu. She's one of the beneficiaries of the project. She started with us in 2016 when the project was first initiated. So this is just to demonstrate how individuals have grown and developed in the project, and they've actually taken what they've learned and gained, and they're actually sharing it with the rest of the community. So when we started the project in 2016, Tolakele was just working in the streams and the rivers with the hope that she will gain some opportunities at some point. So she had no skills, she had no job, and she had no work experience. She has never worked in her life. So she started, she became part of the training program. And in 2017, with some of the training that she had already gained and the skills she already gained, she became part of the aquatic monitoring team, which is responsible for monitoring the water quality on a monthly basis. They use citizen science tools to test the water quality. Her training and skills journey continued into 2018. She co-founded Ladies Future Farmers, which focuses on poultry production. And this was after she attended a 3-month training. And her training journey still continued. And in 2019, she co-founded another company that focuses on creating crafts using waste material. So contributing to circular economy. So they make things like ladies' bags. She also used her skills to train other communities to empower women in her community. In 2020, COVID did not stop her at all. She collaborated with other organizations that are empowering women and developing skills. She's also helping with providing mentorship in some of the projects that we implement in other areas. In 2021, her goal was to start her own sole proprietary business, and she has succeeded in that. Her business focuses on training women, and she also continues to create crafts out of waste material. And we've also seen a huge improvement in the aquatic ecosystems in the rivers and wetlands in the area. This is an unusual picture in the middle of the community to have a wetland system that is looking clean, that doesn't have alien plants, that doesn't have waste disposed on it. And it has now started functioning and doing its work. So when there's heavy rains, the wetland is able to attenuate and control the flooding. This is the main Mbogotweni River. It used to be full of waste when we started with the project, and it also, you couldn't see the surface water. It was covered with alien invasive plants. And this is Ntombufuti, that's part of the monitoring team that does, she's from this community, and she's part of the monitoring team that does monitoring on a monthly basis. We've also seen a reduction in the amount of waste that we find in the environment. So in 2018, we collected about 190 tons of waste. And in 2021, that has reduced to only collecting 86 tons of waste. But the waste still remains one of the issues. We've also replenished 20,000 cubic meters of water by fixing leaking taps and burst pipes, and also educating the community about the importance of conserving water and changing the habits and behaviors towards use of water. We also a multi-award winning project, and we have won 3 projects locally in South Africa. And we're happy to say that this ESD award is our first international award and recognition. So we align with 9 sustainable development goals, which means that our project is really supporting a huge part of the sustainable development goals, and also helping our government to achieve these goals, and helping the communities thrive, and helping our environment to thrive as well. So our future plans, this is a long-term project that we don't see that it will stop anytime soon. But we continue to be innovative and coming up with more solutions to address issues. So we're planning on establishing a waste recycling buyback center to service the community of Ezimbabwe, because waste is still a problem, service delivery is still a problem. So there's a lot of waste that's still persisting in the environment. So with this initiative, we hope to create 15 jobs. We want to further reduce the waste persisting in the environment. We also want to support communities with essentials in exchange for waste recyclable waste. This initiative will also be promoting the circular economy. Thank you for listening, and I'm open to any questions.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your presentation on your project, the Triple P, Ms. Detali. Thank you very much. And now we'd like to move on to a Q&A session. And so those of you at the venue, do you have any questions? Yes, please. Thank you very much for your very amazing presentation. During your presentation, you mentioned about growing vegetables as one of the solutions. Agriculture and growing vegetables, and how do you contribute to the water quality improvement? And you're collecting waste to reduce the amount of waste. And so by removing waste, are you contributing the water quality improvement? To what degree you have seen the improvement?
Thank you for, yes, I did, thank you. So with the agriculture, we have, communities have started their own food gardens. So with those food gardens, they feed the community, they also feed school children, and they also started selling their vegetables to generate income for themselves. In terms of the water quality, with the removal of waste, we have definitely seen an improvement in the water quality. So we usually when we test for water quality, we look at the organisms that live in the water, and they indicate to us whether the water is healthy or not based on their presence or absence from the river system. And we have noticed that a lot of organisms that we find in the river now are the organisms that are most sensitive to pollution. So if there is pollution, we won't find those organisms in the system. Also, in terms of waste, what I haven't mentioned is that we have issues with sewer that's contaminating the river. And we test for E. coli to check how much sewer contamination is in the river. So the monitoring team, they monitor this on a monthly basis. And when they find high counts of sewer, they use that data to look for the pollution source, where the sewer is coming from. And most of the time it's coming from surcharging manholes that have broken up. And they will then call the municipality to respond and fix the manhole. So we find that the quicker response exposes the environment less to pollution. So since we've started that relationship with the municipality, we have seen an improvement in the water quality. So for example, we used to find over 1 million counts of E. coli in the water when we started the project. And lately we're starting to find at least 1,000 counts of E. coli in the water. So that just indicates that the water quality has improved greatly.
Thank you. Ms. Rutali, thank you very much for your response. Now, can I invite some more questions? Okay, it doesn't seem like any more questions. We'd like to conclude the Q&A. The first presentation was South Africa about the Triple P. Thank you very much for the presentation. Please give her a big round of applause to Ms. Vitali. Congratulations.
And next, we have the presentation made by the Streets to Schools from the Republic of the Philippines about their award-winning project. The winning project is Ladders to Literacy. So this is the first step to the literacy education. Now that we'll have Streets to Schools, Mr. Mariano to give his presentation. Mr. Mariano, please, the floor is yours.
All right. So thank you so much again. And congratulations to our co-winners from South Africa. That was a very good serotonin boost to present this next project for you all. So mabuhay. I am Kiel Mariano from the Philippines, the founder and executive director of Streets to Schools, and we're here to present to you Ladders to Literacy. I am honored to represent the dreams and hopes of young people like children and youth all over our country. And I'm very thankful for the Okayama Commission and the city because actually tomorrow is my birthday. So this is like my birthday gift. And I'm really, really thankful for this opportunity to showcase that we could celebrate our wins and also share it to the people. So everyone has a story to tell. Every person we have met in this journey of self-discovery has inspiring experiences that we want to share to the planet. We are honored to call ourselves storytellers for sustainability. Change takes a lot of time, which is why we have to start young. We have always believed that we have to become the next set of professionals who want to make a difference in this world. And in this picture, you could see the children and volunteers who are also watching in this Zoom presentation right now. And I'm thankful to share this opportunity with my friends because this is something we really worked so hard for. With the absence of opportunities for impoverished children, it isn't easy to instill a common responsibility for the people. They say education is the great equalizer, but it falls if its purpose, if the children is still continue to living in poverty, in inequality. In Filipino, we have a term called hugot, which means the root of our passions and cause. And we believe that this is to help children realize that they deserve an education and champion education for sustainable development and our global goals. Like what our former Secretary General said, Ban Ki-moon, he said that this is our world, a common world. We should feel a common responsibility to protect it. And this is how we started it out. So Streets to Schools was founded by me and my friends when we were only 12 to 15 years old. I know there are some awardees here who are also high school students from Okayama City, and I congratulate you for always representing young people like us to make a difference because we need more people like you. And after graduating from this program, we created Streets to Schools, which is now a youth organization composed of young people aged 13 to 25 years old, actively bridging the UNCRC and the SDGs. We are happy to share that we established 2 chapters in the Philippines, Davao Region and Cordillera Region. And we hope to expand even more given the opportunity. We intersect the ideals of the Sustainable Development Goals and the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. We believe it is necessary to address both needs and rights of children. The SDGs reinforce the invaluable needs that everyone deserves, while the UNCRC helps our partner communities understand the duty and the responsibility to protect those needs. I always tell this to myself and to the people I meet. If it makes you happy, it is worth protecting. Now, we look at this lens through our advocacies on ladders to literacy. According to the World Literacy Foundation, literacy is a fundamental human right, and it has to be learned to increase the survivability of people. Imagine a child not knowing how to read and write, and a COVID-19 brochure is given to him. How will he understand the ongoing pandemic? How will he get the access to information? It is an invaluable human right for a child to get information, and we learned this through UNESCO's ideals. These were some of the data presented by the World Literacy Foundation, and this has to be reinforced to continue reading and writing among young people and children. During these times, literacy is a matter of life and death, especially when the information nowadays is not designed for children. And the rampant rise of misinformation and disinformation endangers the life of the people and the future of our children, especially the poor. This is why we created Ladders to Literacy, to give children the necessary reading and writing skills while receiving tailor-fit information on the SDGs. The goal is to have children publish a storybook based on a community problem that they want to address. They educate other children who are falling behind in school And they also create a ripple effect where children co-learn alongside their parents and community members. The published storybook is to be sold, which could help children go back to school. We learned that from various initiatives like the Global Schools Program, the UNESCO Institute for Lifelong Learning, UNICEF, and among others, to bring out the best in this project. And it was done by the youth for the youth. Children who were aged 6 years old, as late as 15 years old, were contributing to this project because we believe the sustainable development goals belong to them as well. It doesn't belong to our government leaders. It doesn't belong to the United Nations. For the first time in a long time, it belonged to everyone. And everyone should answer that call to action. These children, living with their families in informal housing in Manila North Cemetery, were able to publish a storybook. According to Ate Lilian Tiglao in the video, education is the only thing that the children can inherit from them. This quote from the community allows us to keep going despite being in college and having our own set of personal problems and mental health issues. Because this project is able to impact the lives of so many people. In this picture, this is the inspiration of Literate Lila. She is the girl who lived inside the Manila North Cemetery, who dropped out of school because she didn't know how to read or write, but she was able to publish a storybook to overcome illiteracy. And from that, overcoming illiteracy, she continues to clean her environment, like in the picture. Here are some of the published ebooks we have named Literate Lila and The Legend of the Firefly. Now, these books are originally created by our organization alongside the children. We envision these children to feel so accomplished when seeing their books being sold in the bookstores and storytellers like Miss Bianca Porto from Brazil, storytelling their books to Brazilian children and on our Facebook Live audience. So we were able to showcase that these children who came from a cemetery, who have no formal housing, living on gravestones, living on mausoleums, was able to publish a storybook, and the international community is celebrating its SDG implications. Here are some of my friends who did storytelling online. Before, we used to go to the cemetery and do storytelling with them on person, but because of the pandemic, we had to shift to online. And here are some pictures of the live storytelling that happened. Now, during the pandemic, we were able to help out a lot of children. So we were featured in a lot of news articles, TV, and radio for our work. These features allowed us to have a wider reach more than before and help children gain access to gadgets or different materials. We were able to produce partnerships that helped us bring advocacy nationwide. Here are some of our volunteers from Nagoya and Tokyo 2 years ago, Misora, Yuka, and Sakura. We want to use this opportunity on how a project like this also impacts the volunteers. When they came here to the Philippines, they thought of cultural shows and trying new dishes and learned English. We partnered with the AFS Intercultural Exchange Program to help improve their English speaking skills, while also teaching the community children how to read and write. They were surprised since it was their first time encountering an impoverished community. They were taking pictures of the houses, of the streets, because they were surprised that life here in the Philippines is so much more different than there in Japan. And we would just like to share that they rode a tricycle and even joked about starting a tricycle business there in Japan. And I told them that wouldn't work there because you have such good trains and transportation there. They did a lot of origami activities and storytelling with the children. It was also their first time to learn about the Sustainable Development Goals. We quote what Sakura shared with us when we contacted her last year. She said that it is very important that every Japanese person knows the responsibility to care about the planet and the people. The SDGs will not be met if only a few Japanese people were passionate about this. Everyone has to care. The realization also brought about the interest in pursuing international relations in university to help street children after graduation. So they promised, Sakura, Misura, and Yuka, when they come back here in the Philippines, they would like to help the street children again. And that's the type of attitude, behavior, and change we really celebrate here in Streets to Schools. It's not just about the awards, but it's about celebrating powerful human stories, like from these volunteers from Japan. So here's just a sample communities at this point. We would like to share with you our upcoming plans with 5 partner communities to co-create health storybooks with the children. We realized that the pandemic has brought about a lot of calls to action on public health and not just about COVID-19, but also the other communicable diseases that are existing. This is Jubilee Shelter in Bulacan, Philippines, which is in need of street lights and online learning equipment. They identified that climate change aggravated diseases. Hence, it will be producing a storybook on SDG 13, climate action, and SDG 3, good health and well-being for this community. Next is Santa Rosa Dos. It is a community in Bulacan, and they fear that there is a lack of quality education due to modular learning. Because here in the Philippines, we do not have face-to-face classes. Although we are slowly going back, we still have limited. There are parents who do the academic activities for the children, which becomes problematic if the children do not know how to participate in school because some of them were not able to graduate in elementary or high school. This is where we hope to integrate lifelong learning to the parents because they are the first teachers of the home, and it is also their right to a quality education. Our priority storybook here is nutrition, and we will also aim to tackle the parents' experience during the COVID-19 pandemic. In Kabangkalan Elementary School, we have heard reported cases of teenage pregnancy, and we hope to help children understand information about sexual reproductive health. And we want to end the stigma on teenage pregnancy there and let them know that we have other solutions to solve problems like these. Another concern of the community is their deteriorating schools due to the lockdown. So we will create a storybook about that. Sitio Tabuyok, Pampanga fears a rising dengue problem due to the lack of parental supervision and street lights that decrease the productivity of all community members. We hope to donate solar lights here to illuminate their community and create a storybook about accessible light for everyone. Lambakin, Marilao, Bulacan, which is also near my hometown, faces difficulty in irrigation due to the ineffective water systems that cause flooding when the rainy season comes, as you can see in the picture. We want to create a storybook on how children were able to cope with disaster risk reduction while still being at the lockdowns due to COVID-19. This is because strong rains still felt us here in the Philippines despite the ongoing pandemic. And now we would like to share to you the good news that this project has brought about. This opportunity allows us to empower businesses like Mountain Dew, a soda here in the Philippines, who committed tablets for our co-learners so that they may continue to learn despite this pandemic. We believe in the power of corporate social responsibility to bring out the best in everyone. And as we mentioned earlier, that some communities have a problem with lights, and we opted to have a cheaper and more environmentally friendly alternative. We were able to produce solar-powered lights to illuminate the community, and this costs around 500 pesos or 1,127 yen. So nearing the end of this presentation, we would just like to share some of our realizations as the organizing team. You cannot compete with us because we want you to win in life too. We dreamt of being called winners of the ESD Okayama Awards for years. But we know in our hearts that all projects, all 118 entries that joined in this competition this year deserve to be named winners. Our job as people is to cheer for each other until it is our turn to win. Hence, championing SDGs should not be a competition. We should all put into action the message of hope of that SDG 17 or Partnership for the Goals that promises for our planet and people by the year 2030 that no one is left behind. My next one is the way you love yourself is how you will love others. The pandemic reminded us that young people that it is okay that we wait out for the storm to end. We could wait until the lockdowns are over and choose to serve when the pandemic is over. Still, as young people, we were reminded of the future that rightfully belongs to us and the future generations. We decided to take action despite the hardships the pandemic has given to us. And we call this love for the children, communities, and our countrymen. Because at these times when young people would be forgiven to take a break, young people like us saw hope to make a difference. The next one is service from the heart exudes a different kind of excellence. Simply because we did not do this project to win any award. We did this for the sake of making a difference in the community despite our young age. No award or recognition can amount to the achievement of seeing a child holding a pencil for the first time after 5 years of being out of school and learning how to read and write again. The next one comes from my mother, and she told us that it is nice to feel important, but it is more important to be nice. We need to remind ourselves to be kinder during these trying times, and the world seems so cruel and unforgiving. We wanted to set an example to children and adults that every living thing on the planet is essential and born with dignity. This project brought out the best in me in sharing these advocacies with the world. Like when I went to the States, then I spoke for the UNICEF, and we went to communities despite the academic workloads we had. Our older generations continue to tell us, you can help once you graduate. But no, we choose to help now because our future depends on it. While it brought out the best in me, the project brought out the best in other people. Young people aged 20 and below who became passionate about sustainable development goals. And I mean the best in others, even in my academic workload as a nursing student from the University of Santo Tomas, we were able to empower other students there as well to create an anti-misinformation artificial intelligence, for example. And we're really proud that this project is not just here to improve the lives of children, but also improve the lives of young people like us. And I really mean it brought out the best in others. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope we were able to inspire you with our little story of hope with a significant impact on the future of our global goals. You may keep in touch with me if you have any clarifications or if you want to know the project better, and we would love to assist you in any way.
Thank you very much. So thank you for your initiative about the Streets to School of the Republic of the Philippines. Now I'd like to welcome the questions from the floor first. If you have your questions, please. Okay, we have a person from the back. We'll ask the person to come up in the front to make questions. Thank you for coming up to the front. Thank you very much for your wonderful initiative presentation. Maybe I don't maybe understand the situation with Philippines, or maybe I did not took fully of the information. But in Okayama, for example, we have trying to provide education to children. We need to cooperate with schools, and for people who are having a kind of difficult situation in living, when we want to try to help them, we have to go through the local government. Now, among your projects and initiatives, when you do, how about did you let them work with you, the schools or local governments? How did you cooperate with them? How did you let them participate together?
All right, thank you for that question. So we've always believed in SDG 17, Partnership for the Goal. So when we wanted to gather these children, we ensured that we talk to their schools and their barangay. So in the Philippines, a local community is called a barangay. Now in these barangays, they also have their own set of officers and project heads, and they gather the children for us so that when we are able to create a session with them, when we go to them every weekend, the children are already gathered by the barangay, and we are the ones to engage with the activities on them. So this creates a dynamic collaboration where barangays, school officials, and even local government units are also learning about the sustainable development goals because of our project. And then in a formal aspect in schools, we also do speaking engagements for different universities and colleges and high schools so that we can educate people on how to advocate for sustainable development goals, especially at a young age. And in this process, they're able to help us by bringing us more volunteers or creating the materials the children will be using for the reading and writing sessions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I understood very well. Thank you very much for your answer, and thank you for the questions. Now I'd like to ask if there are other people who want to raise a question. First of all, I'd like to ask the audience at the floor. This is a great opportunity to ask a question. And okay, so there's no question from the floor, so we'd like to close this question and answer session. Well, so thank you very much for your presentation. Streets to School Director, Mr. Kiel Marinoa, thank you so much for your presentation. Please give him a big applause. Congratulations. Thank you for a wonderful presentation. So, by this, we would like to close the first section of the Okayama ESD Forum 2021. We had from the Republic of South Africa, Ditari-san of the Triple P, and from the Republic of Philippines, Mr. Kiel Mariano. So thank you so much for your presentation. So we would like to give them a big applause once again here. Thank you so much and congratulations. Thank you. And thank you to the Abe chairman as well as the participants on the online. This will be the end for the first section, and we're going to enter our second section after a 5 minutes break. Thank you very much.